riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, Kodos to my Kang, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
A goddamn roused, Garrett.
Not a word. I think I heard a goddamn roused. Is that what I heard?
Yes, sir.
So you are incredibly aroused right now.
Yeah.
That's disturbing. That's really disturbing.
I don't think so.
I guess I have to ask, based on the format of the show, what's got you so aroused, friend? God damn it.
Garrett, we are discussing the arousing Police song, Every Breath You Take, released May 20th, 1983. And as far as I can tell, you are the only person to request this.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so as far as I can tell, you wanted me aroused.
Okay, we're going to get into all of that for sure. I'm not entirely sure how you get from the Police's Every Breath You Take to a goddamn aroused, or whatever you said. Sexually tantalized.
Did you listen to the song?
Of course I listened to the song.
Did you watch the music video?
Of course I did.
All right. After all of that, were you not aroused?
No.
Were you not aroused?
Tim, do you hate this song?
No. I am uncomfortable as a result of listening to this song. I was made uncomfortable by this song. I think it's very similar to DJ Matthews's Crash Into Me, James Blount's You're Beautiful. But I think that of those, I'd kind of maybe like the music and or performance better.
I think we could say this is a better song than those.
Okay. I think it's the same song as those. I just think it's done a little bit better, so it falls just shy of hate for me.
That's fair.
What about you, Gary? Did you hate this?
Ooh, close. I don't think I hate this song. I do hate listening to this song. I'll explain why when we get to the personal history, but it's tough. I'm conflicted. I really dislike it, but no, I don't hate it. So Tim, I'm curious, is this the first time your breath has ever been taken?
No, of course not. Like everyone, I have heard this song many a time. Mostly overhearing though, hearing it on a very specific radio station I like to listen to after dark in Houston, Texas. But I never owned a Police album. I was obviously an NWA fan as a child. I didn't really get too much into which Police they were talking about. But I knew that there were titular police that were to be fucked, and I just stayed away from all police.
Smart move.
What about you, Gary? Is this the first time you have been stung by Sting?
No, not at all. I've been stung up, down, left, right, and center by Sting.
Gross.
I have...
After dark.
No, I have had a face full of Sting.
After dark. Oh my God.
Again, no. I used to work at a retail shoe store. Don't need to get into the details, but when you work in retail, at least in the late 90s, early aughts, you typically would just put on a CD that was inoffensive that you could play on a 6-disc changer. This was before satellite and what I assume the internet now does for everyone. But for whatever reason, there were 2 CDs that just got played on a continuous loop back to back. One was the Police's greatest hits, and the other was the best of ABBA. So to this day, the Police and ABBA can just go fuck themselves sideways, because I have heard all of their greatest hits so many times.
I don't want to jump ahead here, but next week we will be doing ABBA. Something by ABBA.
It's too late. We've already picked it, and it ain't ABBA. So this is why I'm so conflicted, Tim. I don't hate this song as a song. I do absolutely loathe having to listen to it again.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cool. Well, that's your history. That's my history. But before we can talk about this bizarre and creepy song that's got you fully erect for some reason.
No, aroused.
You got like a chub.
No, Gary.
What?
No.
I'm just trying to understand how aroused you are. Is there a scale we can use?
You want me to place my penis on a scale?
Yes. I want you to weigh.
No.
Listen,
good.
I will use my penis as a constant, and then you can weigh your penis.
I'm deleting all of this, but I'm glad we have it on record.
Dare delete it. This is how you know how aroused you are. You get a good friend to serve as the control, and then you can weigh your penis, and then the amount it weighs more is a starting point to create a scale of turgidity.
Well, but that implies that you are at a 0% arousal here.
Yes, and I am.
Let's move on.
Okie doke. Tim, help us understand who are the police and how did this song come to be?
We should start, of course, with Sir Gordon Matthew Thomas Sumner, CBE, also known as Sting.
What is CBE?
He's a knight? I don't know what kind of knight. Confederate of the British Empire.
Caucasian. That can't be it, right?
No.
Consigliere.
Commander of the British Empire. No, it is. Oh,
God. What if we got invaded by Sting?
Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire.
Oh my God, that's actually what it is?
That's what Sting is.
Okay. I did not know that he led any sort of armed force.
Anyway, Sting was born in 1951 to a hairdresser mother and a milkman/engineer father. He grew up working class. He allegedly decided to become wealthy at an early age after Queen Elizabeth waved at him from a Rolls Royce. Obviously a lot similar to Garrett's upbringing, except Gary lived in Fort Worth and was wooed by me, and now we live in a single room together and will forever.
Forever.
For the rest of our lives. And then I assume one of us will be arrested for living with a corpse.
For the rest of one of our lives.
Yeah, exactly. Gordy got a Spanish guitar from a friend of his father's. He went briefly to the University of Warwick. Then he worked construction. He worked as a bus conductor. And then he went to Northumbria University and was a teacher for 2 years.
God, what a life.
Yeah, but it hasn't really started yet because as a teacher, he is unable to find enough people that are willing to have very long sex with him. So
he likes long sex.
Yes, he does. Who doesn't? I mean, Garrett, no one wants to have sex for 8 hours.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So much chafing.
Yeah, or even if it's not chafing, just like a sandwich or, dick around on your phone, check your email.
You got to imagine, I mean, we're jumping way
there's like
ahead.
Email breaks, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's still inside somebody, but he is also checking his email.
Okay, so they have some sort of like rolling chair contraption so they can go around the house, maybe do the laundry, but he is still inside of her.
I assume there's just the whole bed. I picture a room with a bed that's roughly 1 foot smaller than the room on all sides. And then that bed is surrounded by servants. The servants are not to watch or participate, but they are there to meet every need, non-sexual.
I would assume they would have to watch.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm sure you do.
Because we are dealing with the British Bono here. I don't think it's quite as bad, but to say that Sting's not up his own butt a little bit is disingenuous.
Oh, absolutely. And we will get there, of course.
Yeah, so the idea that he asks his servants to not only watch, but I could see him even like providing commentary. Did you see what I did there?
Oh, sure.
I used to do it the other way, but now I go over the top. Bit of clitoral stimulation.
Yeah, but he pays well.
Yeah, and you get to watch people bang all day.
Yeah, again, for 8 hours, no one wants that.
I mean, I'd watch for 8 hours.
I don't think you would.
If you paid me, and my whole job is just in case at any point during the 8 hours Sting says, "Oh, I'd like some ice cream," then my job is to get that ice cream.
You're going to be getting so much ice cream.
Well, you got to imagine, Tim, it's a whole day, so you're just as likely to get requests for smoked turkey as you are ice cream.
Anyway, Sting started performing jazz in his spare time when he was not being a teacher. Obviously, during this time, he was having really slow, really long sex with people. And he would wear a yellow and black version of the Fredence Krueger sweater. Basically just a yellow and black striped sweater, and was called Sting because he looked like a bee.
That's a terrible nickname.
Depends. It's a terrible way to get that nickname.
Yeah, I guess it's a good nickname if the origination of any nickname was that like, oh, that dude looks a lot like a bee.
Oh, no, I disagree completely. I think that because that he looked like a bee is why it's stupid. If he was a con artist, cool nickname. If he dressed like a bee that one time or all the time, terrible nickname.
Yeah, but still better than like Bumbly or Mr. Buzzlesworth or just Bee. What's up, Bee?
I think...
Well, that's not so bad.
You know what? I think we can agree on this. The future drummer of the Police, Stuart Copeland, was performing with the band Curved Air. He met Sting on tour when they were in England. Curved Air broke up. Both Sting and Stuart Copeland ended up moving to London. They met up to jam. They liked each other, and they formed the Police with Henry Pedavani on guitar. And they played around England for a while as sort of a power trio. They released the single Fallout. And then in 1977, they got much better guitarist Andy Summers, who he'd played in like Eric Burdon and the Animals and some other psych rock bands, and was significantly older than the rest of the guys. He He was almost 10 years older, so he's the real Garrett Harvey of the group.
Huh?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, when we met, you were significantly older. I was but a boy. You were a full-grown man.
Okay. Just because you have and continue to this day to have boy-like features does not make you a boy. You were a few years younger.
I'm cherubic, sure.
I wouldn't say cherubic. I would say youthful?
Oh, thank you.
No.
You are not.
What is that age? Like, what would you call it, the age where you're like we can't tell if it's a boy or girl?
Oh, no, I don't think that's... No. Anyway. So they kick Henry out of the band. Allegedly, this was a condition of Andy joining, and Sting claims to feel bad about it / not really want to. They were playing sort of punk rock, I guess. They were putting a lot of reggae, jazz, progressive rock, and other things in there. And it combined to be okay sometimes, rarely pretty good. And it's just mediocre. I don't really like a lot of the Police's music, I guess is my point.
Yeah, the reggae influence is super weird.
Kind of. I mean, some of the Clash has some reggae undertones.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. As I mentioned, Tim, I'm very familiar with the Police. It's pretty prevalent. It is odd.
Yeah, well, Sting, I think, loves reggae.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But didn't he do an album with Shaggy?
Oh, we will get there. They were asked to do a commercial for Wrigley's Spearmint Gum to be directed by Tony Scott, director of Top Gun and Man on Fire, brother of Ridley Scott, and future, well, that's dark. Gino has in here future suicide victim.
Jesus Christ.
I know. I mean, he did die by his own hand, but that's not something we need to include here.
No, Tim, you know what? Some of this is on you.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't read the notes after Gino writes them.
No, I would argue you can't.
The commercial was filmed. They had to dye their hair blonde for it. And then the commercial was never aired, but they kept the look. And that sort of became their signature Police look.
That's really stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the whole thing is stupid. They recorded their debut album with money from Copeland's brother, Outlandos de Amor. It featured the single Roxanne, and it got the Police a deal with A&M Records, and their career just slowly starts to build after this. They finally broke when they performed Roxanne on Top of the Pops. They reissued the single in 78. It had originally failed to chart, but when on the reissue, people kind of loved it. The BBC refused to play it because of its depiction of prostitution. It just wasn't played. They didn't ban it or anything, but A&M Records promoted the single with posters claiming that it was banned by the BBC, and that helped quite a bit.
When my mom would make me go wake my sister as a child, I would lean over into her ear while she was sleeping and go, Roxanne!
Garrett's sister, not named Roxanne.
No, just she didn't like it when I did that. And I thought it was hilarious.
I can get behind that. Sure. In 1979, Gordy and the Police released Regatta De Blanc with singles Message in a Bottle and Walking on the Moon. I really like the latter of those songs, although it is, again, kind of reggae-ish.
Oh, you bet your ass it is.
They did their first world tour in 1980, and they made it a point to go to places that no one was really going at the time. They hit up like venues in Egypt and India. In 1980, they released Zenyatta Mondata. I fucking hate them.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
In 1981, they released Ghost in the Machine, and then in 83, they released Synchronicity. The last four of these albums, spanning 1979 to 1983, all hit #1 in the UK. And then they just stopped being a thing, right?
Yeah.
They went on hiatus in 1984. They were officially broken up in 1986. I think Sting is to blame for a fair portion of that. I think he felt like he wasn't able to do everything he wanted in the band, or it had taken him as far as he was going to go, or possibly he wanted more of the money. But he went on to release 14 studio albums from 1985 to 2019, including 2018's 44/876, a collabo with Shaggy that has been requested many a time. He is also a pretentious jackass who probably means well. I think he means well. But
yeah, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, something we don't typically do on the show. I think he does mean well.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the human equivalent of the pretentious garbage song, Do They Know It's Christmas, which he also participated in.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he's just one of these guys. He wants you to think he's super deep, think he cares about stuff, and he's introspective. But I think, honestly, he believes it's for a good cause. But I think it's Because he wants you to fuck him.
Oh,
and I think it's because he wants to fuck you for 8 hours straight while a bunch of servants bring him turkey and ice cream, which is apparently what Garrett would want during 8 hours of sex.
Tim, we've been dancing around it for quite a while. Let's get into it for a second. Like Jeremy Renner, Sting likes to fuck.
Yeah, unlike Jeremy Renner, I would assume he's more giving.
Oh, very attentive lover.
Yeah.
Less cocaine and biting and slapping.
Allegedly.
Yeah, there could be more for all we know. We don't know how much cocaine Sting does before he has intercourse for 6 to 18 hours. And folks, if you don't know, Tim, I don't know if you did any other research, and God love you if you did. Sting is into an art, a practice, a cult.
It's an art.
As,
I think art.
Well,
he would call it an art.
Don't speak for Sting.
No, I know on this one, he would call it an art.
He would call it an art. I would call it edging. In any case, he's super into tantric sex. Not just into it, folks. What's worse than being into tantric sex? Talking about it. And he will ad nauseum for almost as long as he'll fuck you.
He's evangelical about it. He will proselytize at you.
He's looking to convert, and by that, we mean enter you. Yeah. I mean, Sting, for God's sakes. Now, I don't know, Tim, and everybody's different. I'm not going to ask you. You might be a very vocal lover. I don't want to know. But if you're in a room with Sting having sex for, let's be conservative, let's say 6 hours, what kind of noises are you dealing with?
I would think none. I bet it's incredibly silent.
Oh, that's worse, right?
Yo, absolutely.
Oh, what if he just watched like reruns of Cheers the whole time? I don't know if that'd be better or worse, or something. What's something weirder, like
Everybody
Maud.
Loves Raymond.
Oh, Everybody Loves Raymond is on uncomfortably loud to cover up the fact that as Sting inches closer to climax, he begins humming louder and louder various Police songs.
I bet he goes solo music, but I could see him certainly listening to at least a couple of his albums.
I thought you were going to say solo tantric. Same exact setup, but it's just him jaying off in the middle of that big pit.
Yeah, still the same amount of servants bringing him turkey and ice cream.
Yeah, or business meeting. Maybe he's got to fold some laundry. I don't know. The only thing I think you have to take a break for, and I just refuse to believe anything other, is a bathroom break. Or maybe you fast prior to the tantric session, so that's not even an issue.
Oh yeah, for days.
Days?
Oh yeah, you want it. It's a religious experience.
Tim, if I fasted for half a day, dead.
Oh yeah.
I have to keep feeding this furnace.
Yeah, it's a really easy way to kill Garrett. You just hide the food. He weakens so quickly.
So quickly.
He's
my
very
vision
strong
narrows.
at first, though. So, like, he can't realize what you've done.
Yeah, if I figure out you hid that food before the trembles set in, God help you, I'll rip you limb from limb like a chimp.
He's got the thumbless mitts of a chimp.
Please stop
grow
describing
thumbs.
my hands
Grow
in
thumbs.
such negative ways. I have thumbs. What do you mean grow thumbs? They are broken. But they're there. Don't discount my broken thumbs. Back to the history. As to why they broke up, I believe it is a deep-seated hatred between Sting and Stuart Copeland. Whose fault it is a little tough to say. I was gonna say, a little tough to say for sure, but the smart money's on Sting. Seems like a bit of a diva.
Yeah, he probably fucked somebody, Stuart Copeland. Maybe he fucked Stuart Copeland.
Oh my God. Hey, Stu, let me show you this cool new thing I'm doing. Oh, all right, mate. Let me get... Oh, God. Walking on the moon.
I believe Stuart Copeland's an American.
Oh, is he? I don't know anything about the police.
That's obvious. Anyway, let's hear some of this masterpiece. What do you say?
I think that's a great idea, Tim. We always encourage you, and especially this week, folks, really treat yourself. Go watch the music video. It's the official one, sponsored by Vivo. They do good work. Out on the YouTubes. Go watch it real quick, because you're going to get some very haunting gazes from Sting that are going to carry you nicely into this conversation. So enjoy it, but in case you're just a lazy bastard, or maybe you're at work or something, here's a taste. A little bit of the Police's Every Breath You Take.
And now, let's hear some of that Apologetics parody version.
I wish you'd never found this.
And now, Garrett, let's hear some of the Apologetics parody version of Message in a Bottle, Message in the Bible.
I'll send my SO into the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone...
God, that's funny.
They're so good.
I'll send an SOS to the Lord. Man, I might want to join the apologetics. I don't.
You probably could.
I'm sure I could. I don't think it requires a lot of skill. I've heard their songs. Musically, maybe better than me, but they're terrible at coming up with replacement lyrics. And that's where the irony lies, Tim. Not much of a fan of your Jesus, but really like making up songs.
I mean, you could just be a title man.
Anyway, back to the song at hand, Every Breath You Take. Let's talk about it. Tim, is Sting good at singing?
He's competent.
Yeah, he's not bad at singing.
Yeah, but like, I mean, there's nothing great here.
I will say of the Police catalog, this is far more palatable than the Roxanne.
Sure.
Like, that gets really old real fast.
Yeah, I think he tries to do some stuff that is not necessarily in his wheelhouse often.
Yeah, I mean, let's just put it out there. White guy reggae. No, sir.
Musically, this is super simple. I think part of the reason it sounds so generic is that a lot of songs that came after this also sounded basically like this.
Yes.
But it was, so I mean, I looked this up and the progression is quote unquote the 50s progression.
The 50s progression is used when the night is doom doom doom. Right. Everybody knows it. Yeah. I've heard it 1,000 times.
This song sounds very similar to a lot of stuff that came out in the 80s. Like halfway through, if you told me this was going to transition into like The Boys of Summer,
sure.
That perfect.
And I want to give the Police credit. They are certainly instrumental in establishing this sound for the era, as you put it. Before we got to like the fun stuff, like the Wham and the Boy George and like just the ridiculous 80s songs.
God,
like this
you
was
always bring up Boy George when we're talking about fun.
That guy knew how to party. Just put on some face makeup, maybe get a little gacked out, chain a delivery man to your radiator for 3 to 5 days. That guy knew how to party. This was more the like UK generic sound. Pop music, or just the popular music of this era, is so painfully boring. Competent band, good band even. I'll say the Police are a good band.
Yeah.
I can't stand them, but they're a good band.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I'll take the Police over Sting any day.
Yeah, Sting's a pretentious cunt.
Hey, just look at the solo catalog. Sting left unchecked is a self-indulgent nightmare. Even with his intercourse, Tim. Most of us get it done in 1-2 hours easy? 8? Come on, man. You're just so self-indulgent.
Self-indulgent intercourse. Let's give a little bit of context for this song.
That's important.
Where Mr. Sting was in his life. He wrote this in 1982. He had just separated from Frances Tumulty. I believe that was his first wife, and he was beginning a relationship with Trudy Styler. Mm-hmm. Except that really wasn't the case, because Trudy was Frances's next-door neighbor and best friend, and, he was just banging her, as you do, I guess. The tabloids just kind of locked onto this and gave him quite a bit of shit. And so he moved to the Caribbean and got Ian Fleming's condo or whatever.
He gets to just live in Ian Fleming's compound.
Yeah, in Jamaica, the GoldenEye estate, and just starts writing this. We can get into what he thinks of the song at the end, maybe.
Okay.
Because he has some thoughts on what it's about. So just keep that in mind, that he has just broken up with his wife. And
I was going to say broken up might not be the right phrase. Think of it more like was actively cheating on his wife with the next door neighbor, and someone found out, thus beginning the process of leaving his wife.
Right.
Where he then retreated to Jamaica to hang out with the author of James Bond.
Yeah, but I think that Ian Fleming was probably already dead at that point.
Oh, long dead, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Anywho. So with that in mind, here are the lyrics. Every breath you take, and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you.
Tim, my entire life, I have wondered why Sting wrote a song about how much he is stalking a woman. I now believe that this song, or at least maybe the start of it, we'll see where it goes, is about his pesky wife and all of the watching she's doing as he's trying to fuck.
I like it. Yeah, she is onto him. And the tabloids, maybe. Maybe this is about paparazzos looking in his windows.
Sure. Yeah. And now, if that's the case, I think that we have to read all of this with a very indignant tone.
Yeah. Well, there's also, and there's a second theory here as well, which is sort of the original reading, but where his wife is 100% in the right. She's leaving him. She's right to leave him because, obviously. But he's just like, what the fuck? I'm Sting.
Yeah, you don't leave
me. I will follow you around.
Yeah, I can cheat on you, but I decide when this marriage ends. Now come back for another 8-hour lovemaking session.
Yes. Also, the neighbor's going to come. Your best friend, you know her, Trudy.
Yeah, this is going to go great.
Every single day and every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
Yeah, I mean... It is either about stalking the next woman whom he will assumedly cheat on with, or it's about the suffocating stalking watch of a woman that has been scorned.
Sure, and in the next lines will make that, so, oh, can't you see you belong to me? Now that makes me think this is Sting singing this to this poor woman. But then you get, and every move you make, and every vow you break, every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you. And that makes me think that maybe you're right. This might be this woman singing this to him.
So then do you think maybe Sting feels bad about his philandering?
No. He's just noticing that somebody else is angry.
Okay, so back to that indignant tone.
Right, yeah, of course.
You're watching me, you're accusing me, every smile you think is fake, you think that all of my excuses or every time I tell you I'm sleeping at the studio, it's just an excuse.
Yeah, you're looking in the neighbor's house, and of course I'm there, obviously.
Yeah, banging on the bathroom floor.
Oh, dear.
Oh my God. No wonder he had to do the collabo with Shaggy.
Yeah, that seems pretty perfect now.
Now, I do have a question. The lyrics as you read, Tim, were every smile you fake, great. Every claim you stake, I'll be watching you. So, my best guess, the staking a claim is another vagina he claims to be his. Woman's vagina.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be clear about that.
Well,
Not just a disembodied vagina. Right. He declares it, I'd like to have that. And then it just happens.
Yeah, one of his servants comes out and brings it into him.
Pardon me, madam. Yes, Sting is over there. Yes, quite exciting. Yes, he has requested your vagina. I'm sorry? Your vagina, madam. He'd like to, do you have 6 or 8 hours?
And it's not really a request.
Yeah, this is going to happen. So you can either take my hand peacefully or we can get the chloroform. Anyway, so I think he's staking claims on women's bodies, which, of course, you and I on this show, even Gino, with his bizarrely dictatorial inclinations, we are about respect for women. We would never claim any woman's vagina as our own. I would respectfully ask to borrow it, I guess.
Yeah. Or
Tim, I'm in deep here. Help me.
No, I think you did it right. You respectfully
artfully executed.
Yeah.
Request to rent that. Well, not rent, borrow. The song continues. I've been lost without a trace. I dream at night. I can only see your face. I look around, but it's you I can't replace. I feel so cold and I long for your embrace. I keep crying, baby, please. Could be self-aggrandizing that, now that he's alone, he actually misses her and her face and her embrace. But I think it's probably, again, from the perspective of that poor woman who he has left alone once he fled to Jamaica to live in Ian Fleming's house.
See, I think, because this is all filtered through Sting. So the first part, I think the woman is angry. So the first part of it where she's looking in windows and she's watching him stake his claim. Right. He looks out that window and he sees her face. That part he knows to be true. Once you get to the bridge here, and now he's in Jamaica, and he's imagining, well, now that she ran me off, she must be heartbroken because I'm Sting. She must be laying in bed regretting her decision.
Okay, so it is self-aggrandizing.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, I think that this is all his perspective on what she must be feeling. Yeah. What if it's worse, Tim? What if he wants to have his cake and fuck it too? He wants
As we all do.
Right. He wants the neighbor. I forget all their names, but he wants the neighbor. But he also, Tim, as you kind of alluded to, he's not going to be pushed aside. He wants to have it both ways. I'm going to be a loving, attentive, exhausting lover to my wife. And then I'm also going to fuck some side pieces.
Well, yeah, I think that's absolutely what he wants. He just didn't want to tell her because he was afraid she was going to have to run off to Jamaica.
Maybe this song, Tim, now, depending on when this song was written relative to the divorce, this could have been a word of warning from Mr. Sting.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, letting her know, listen, you stupid bitch, if you don't let me fuck other people without, buttoning it, I don't want to hear about it, then this is going to be you. You're going to be left alone and sad and longing for me, and I'm going to be living in Ian Fleming's house for some reason, banging everybody.
Yeah.
The point is, Sting is a nightmare, and nobody should like this band.
Absolutely. And that's pretty much the song. He just repeats it a bunch of times. And then you get this outro. And that's just, I'll be watching you every breath you take. It's just repeating everything over and over and over again.
Yeah, 8 times in a row, in fact.
Yeah. Now, Sting, for his part, he disagrees with our theory.
Oh, well, he's wrong, but continue.
Well, he said, I woke up in the middle of the night with the line in my head, that every breath you take, sat down at a piano and had written it in half an hour. The tune itself is generic, an aggregate of hundreds of others, but the words are interesting. It sounds like a love song. I didn't realize at the time how sinister it is. I think I was thinking of Big Brother, surveillance, and control.
Okay, I think he's agreeing with us, Tim. Big Brother is a synonym for his pesky wife.
Maybe. You might be right, yeah.
God, that poor woman, I hope she got a huge settlement.
Absolutely. Something in the neighborhood of $30,000 a month because, as discussed on this very show, you just can't live on 11.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Minimum alimony payments of $30,000 a month.
Absolutely. Now, this, of course, has a music video, and Garrett, that music video has 795 million views on YouTube. But if you count the lyric videos and the videos other people have uploaded, the non-official, but they're just videos of this song, there's over 1 billion views of this goddamn song on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. People love it, man. The video itself, though, the official video is 4 minutes of what in God's name is this?
It's bizarre. You said it right. It's super self-indulgent.
It's self-serious. It is artistic far beyond the heights of this song.
Yeah, it's a lot of like black and white close-ups, stylized to kind of only show the people playing or singing.
The whole thing's black and white. Every shot is done like the portrait mode on the iPhone where everything's blacked out. So everybody's in a singular spotlight in an ethereal black space.
Right.
Variously playing instruments or not. Sometimes there's instruments being shown that I don't think are in this song.
There's a whole string section.
Yeah, I don't think there's any violins on this song, but there's a guy playing at least 3 of them in the video. But it is a lot of close-ups on Sting soulfully singing into the screen. He plays an upright bass for a bit. Looks like a jackass.
Yeah, and I don't think upright bass is the bass that's being played on this song.
No, not at all. His hair is feathered to holy hell. He looks like Olivia Newton. He looks like Olivia Newton-John from the Let's Get Physical video.
Right. That's what I said too.
Is that why you were so aroused?
Maybe.
Sting looks like Olivia Newton-John or because Olivia Newton-John looks like Sting?
I think the thing is, when he gives, right after he says, I'll be watching you, and he Zoolanders into the camera.
Yeah.
Garrett, he stared into my soul. He knows all of my sins.
He'll be watching you.
I have to get rid of Sting before he tells people what I've done.
Excellent plan. I will not stand in your way.
You better not.
I will not aid or abet, but I will not stand in your way.
Did you say a bed?
I can't go to jail. A bed.
A bet.
A bet? T?
Bet, yeah.
Well, that makes more sense. Okay. Anyway.
You're just stuck on Sting's bed.
Oftentimes, it looks like a glamour shot composite where you can see various members of the band in outlined ovals.
Everyone else in the band looks really bored by this whole thing.
Lord knows I was.
Yeah, you're right.
I just couldn't believe it.
It's a boring, generic song.
Yeah, even Sting admits it's not a very original tune.
Right, but the words are interesting, Garrett, because they're about Big Brother. Garrett, this is a criticism of the surveillance state.
And by that, he means his personal household and possibly the private investigator his soon-to-be ex-wife hired.
Yes, rightfully so.
Maybe this whole song is just about a PI.
Oh, I like that.
What's fascinating and what I am glad we've taken away from this episode already, Tim, is that I always assumed that this was a weird song that Sting wrote about how much he enjoys stalking women. And I think that it's really more about how much he enjoys banging women that he's not married to and would appreciate it if his wife would shut the fuck up about it.
Absolutely. It also might be about how much he loves stalking future women that he plans to bang.
That's implied. That's implied.
Sorry.
He's staking claims.
Absolutely.
Madam, I'm terribly sorry to bother you. Yes, that's Sting over there. Yes, he's requested your vagina. Clear your calendar. Don't worry, we'll take care of all your needs. Tim, how'd this thing do?
Pretty well. It's certified platinum in the US, UK, Italy, and Denmark. It was a number 1 single in Canada, Ireland, Israel, UK, and the US. It was a number 6 single on the Swiss Schweizer hit parade, number 2 on the Norway VG Lista, and number 2 on the Swedish Sverigetoplisten, number 5 on the Finnish Suomen Virallinen Lista, and number 3 in the Dutch. It was the best-selling single in the US in 1983. It was the 5th best-selling single of the 1980s.
Jesus.
It won a Grammy for Best Song of the Year. It won a Grammy for Best Pop Performance by a Duo or Group. Rolling Stone has it listed as the 84th best song of all time. The album this song came from, Synchronicity, sold over 8 million copies in the US alone. This is kind of considered to be the signature song of both The Police and Sting. It generates 1/4 to 1/3 of Sting's income to this very day. And
Good Lord.
according to the record company, again, take this with a little grain of salt, but allegedly it is the most played song in radio history. That sounds wrong to me, but I found several articles that all claimed that.
Wow. For me, Roxanne's the signature sound.
Oh, well, yeah, that's because you harassed your sister with it. Sting, on the whole, has sold over 100 million records worldwide and has won 17 Grammy Awards. So he's doing all right.
Jesus.
People love Sting.
Yeah, they do. And if they don't at first, they will.
Yeah.
They'll fuck you till you do.
Yeah. If they don't at first, 8 hours later, they will.
Yeah. If only to make it stop. Good Lord. Imagine how sore your vagina would be.
So sore.
And your penis. I mean, Tim, I
assume he's very calloused.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He'd have to be. It's got to be very
Callous.
rough and,
Or maybe it's the other way, Tim. Maybe he's very well moisturized. Practically some sort of liquid man.
Gross.
Produces his own lubricants. Anyway, I don't want to think about Sting's dick anymore. Tim, do you got any reviews for us?
Yeah, Amazon has 217 reviews. I think that's the record for a single. 4.8 out of 5 stars on average, 86% 5-star, 1% 1-star. And I've got a bunch, but they're all very short, but I think they're so weird.
All right, rattle them off.
Ken in 2019 said, "Cuts even deeper when your lover decides to leave." 5 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
Patriot 127 in 2014 said, "A romantic song with great music and lyrics. Evokes memories of love with a special person in your life, a romantic evening, or a special day. Love it. 5 out of 5 stars.
This is only romantic for a serial killer.
That's right.
And you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's erotic. It's not romantic.
You've never really explained why it's so erotic.
Eli1174 in 2012 said, "I bought this song as it is part of the Christian Grey books." I believe those are the 50 Shades of Grey, possibly.
Oh, okay.
It makes the reading that much better to relate to the songs they're talking about in the book. 5 out of 5 stars.
This guy needed supplemental J and off music.
That's right.
Folks, don't jerk off to books. That's weird. Or a soundtrack.
Yeah, or a soundtrack to a book.
Oh, that might be that might be our second album release, Jerk Tracks.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Songs to pleasure yourself to.
Yep.
Tim, this is an untapped market. What is that going to sound
it's
like?
Not. You think it is, but it's a saturated market.
So saturated.
Yeah. Buckeye Baby said, "Purchased for Realtor Open House." 5 out of 5 stars. She bought it to play this song as people milled about a house.
Tim, I like going to open houses. Well, not anymore, but I used to, because they usually had cookies.
Oh, yeah, and also you get to harass people.
And you can use strangers' toilets.
Absolutely. One last one here. This is by Angel Zuniga, who titled her review, "Collecting Music" from 2013. "If I am forced to a specific number of words in rating songs, I will no longer leave a rating or response. If I paid money for the song, that should suffice that I wanted the song. Anything beyond that is not for my benefit. After payment, that should be the end of my obligation. The rating system should be stars only without having to leave comments. 5 out of 5 stars.
Wow. So first I thought that they were under the impression that you must leave a review, because it does prompt you when you purchase something to do so. But it sounds like she's just angry that, at least in her impression, and I don't know if it works this way because I don't leave Amazon reviews, but I think it sounds like you have to enter text if you want to enter stars.
Yes. Well, no, you don't, because there are never as many reviews as there are ratings. Like it's
You're
two
100%
different
right.
things.
That woman's completely wrong.
But, still
Excellent.
5 out of 5 stars. So
Well, sure. It's not Sting's fault.
that's not Sting's fault.
There's a lot that is. This isn't it. Tim, who's this for?
The ladies.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Final thoughts. What have we not said about this?
Nothing. I think
Of
we
course.
think we got it this week. There's a couple of different competing possibilities. All of them are kind of creepy.
Yep. And there's 2 things we learned. Sting wants to fuck.
We didn't learn that. We knew that.
Okay. Well, Tim, listen.
We
got some
confirmed
younger.
it.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm using the royal we, sir. We have many younger listeners. They may not know that Sting likes to fuck.
That's true. Stay away from Sting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially the younger listeners. Jesus Christ. You're nubile. He could be a vampire for all we know. The other thing we learned, I've already forgotten, probably was that not only does he like to fuck, it's ideally someone he's not in a full-time relationship with. And if it isn't, I'm going to need that wife to be quiet about it.
Yeah, I want to be, well, not me. Sting wants to be married, but he also wants to be Sting.
Yeah, you can't ask Gordon not to be Sting.
Yeah.
Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Isn't that your name?
No. My name's Tim.
Tom.
Tom, yes.
Perfect.
No, Tim. God damn it.
We'll check the tape. Anyway, all right, Tim, now let's ask the goddamn question. Do you hate this song?
I don't hate it. I think it's troubling no matter what the intention by Sting is, but I don't hate this song. What about you?
No, same conclusion. Don't really hate it. I don't really want to listen to it ever again.
Oh, God, no.
I do think it's odd how many people think this is a romantic song.
Well, this is what we get with every one of these creepy songs. I think it might be like somebody danced to this to prom and just never...
Oh, okay.
Because
That's fair.
we had all the people that were... What song was it that everyone was walking down the aisle to?
Crazy Bitch? God damn it, what was it? Oh, Dave Matthews.
Yeah, just like Crash Into Me. I'm sure tons of people have walked down the aisle to this.
Yeah, which is ironic and weird.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder, Tim. Now, obviously, we get into the nitty gritty here on the show, but outside of this, in my average casual music listening, I'm listening to the words being said.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do other people do it?
I don't know. I think they just focus on the one phrase, like every breath you take, that seems kind of romantic. He's paying a lot of attention to her.
Maybe, Tim. Now we've seen this in other episodes. Maybe things are starting to build up here. Is this a peeping thing? Do people want to be peeped? They want people watching every move they make, every breath they take. You seem to be pretty interested in getting peeped.
No, I just understand it implicitly.
It sounds like, okay, well, I don't know. I cut you off before you could overtly say it and gave you the old social cue not to bring it up again. But I think you were going to ask me to peep you.
Well, I mean...
Okay, don't answer that.
Sting's wife was unavailable.
Right. She's got to keep her eye on Sting.
Oh.
She doesn't have time to be watching you and whatever it is you do all day, like dress up the dogs.
They're so cute.
I know about that.
I sent you those pictures. Of course you know about that. Don't pretend like you caught me by peeping in the window while I was dressing up the doggies.
No, I refuse to peep you, Tim. No, you sent them to me for sure, but I did not sign off on those pictures. Do not put clothes on my dog. What you do to your dog is your business, but also don't. Okay, Tim, that brings us to listener mail. Would you like to go first this week, or would you like me to?
I can go first.
All right, kick us off.
So this is actually an Instagram post. This is from Panda Bajar. And we ask people to post their favorite out-of-context quotes from the show. Real in-conversation kind of things.
Maybe you should give a little context for what in conversation is, in case anybody missed it.
I'll give some context afterward, because I have a few examples. But essentially, for years, I would write down things Garrett said and then publish them on the internet with the time and just absolutely no context. They were just a line here or there. And I'll share some pre-show after this.
We don't have to do that.
Well, we're gonna. But anyway, so here are a few of Panda Bajar's
that can't be right.
favorite quotes. Slipknot sounds like school buses crashing into other school buses.
Mm-hmm.
Billie Eilish is a fucking narc. Gonna wrangle up some boys.
That's gotta be you.
Do we have ourselves a daddy situation?
Yeah, okay.
What's an appropriate time frame to bang like 34 guys? Probably 6 months.
That feels right.
Never go... Never go full ska.
Oh, that's good advice.
Yeah.
You can wear the stupid checkered shoes. You can skank a little, but you can even gel up your hair and get a trumpet. But don't do all those things or you're in a ska band.
That's right. The real enemy? Squares.
Oh, yeah.
And their relationship began like any great love story with an introduction from Fred Durst. Now, here are some. So again, I used to do this for, probably
10 years.
maybe. And I'm kind of thinking of starting a new segment of every show with just one or two of these to let you in on what Garrett was thinking at certain points.
Do you have the ones I captured of you?
I think so.
Are we going to read any of those?
Probably not.
I don't know. Listen, Tim, this was the early days of the internet. People were not...
This is 2014, man.
Shut up.
I'm going to read the dates.
God damn it, man. You can't read the dates.
I'm going to read the dates.
If you read the dates, then I can't say I've changed or I am a different man
This
now.
is who you are.
Do not ruin my...
Anyway, so this is a new segment, possibly entitled In Conversation 3/28/2015. I may be James Spader. Unclear what that means. Same date, March 28th, 2015. If you give a mouse a cookie, he will want a glass of milk, especially if that milk is your wife's hot poon.
Oh my God. Is that one of yours?
No, these are all yours, Garrett.
I don't know about that.
Trying to blame this. January 31st, 2014, I lost my shower curtain.
No, I did.
February 20th, 2014, my horse is gonna eat your horse.
Good advice.
June 13th, 2014, my uncle was killed by errant clown violence.
It's tragic.
December 7th, 2013, I don't like friends.
That's damning.
February 22nd, 2014, on the same topic, friendship is always threatening.
It is with you, friend.
October 1st, 2013, I'm headed face first into homelessness.
Oh, yeah. That was a dark time for me.
Yeah.
My face hair got longer than my head hair.
Absolutely. And finally, on July 21st, 2013, mine is a house of cards, poorly built and never guarded.
Yeah, that's 100% an accurate description of my life.
Yeah. And that was, was that before we moved in together?
Yes.
Oh, God. So, yeah. I guess that's the never guarded part. You were not paying enough attention.
You slipped just right on in.
Yep. Slid in.
Changed the locks on both of the bedrooms in the house. Next thing I know, there's 2 goddamn futons sitting in the living room.
And we're creative.
Listen, has it fostered a creative spirit for the show? Unfortunately, yes.
Excellent.
Anyway, great, interesting, and embarrassing, if not outright damning segment, Tim.
Yes, but not libelous.
Not yet. I do encourage the listeners to continue to send in your completely out of context quotes from the show. Just individual sentences that you found particularly interesting. If you can think of who to credit with them, we would love to know. If not, that's fine too. Anyway, great Instagram post, I guess. That brings me to my listener mail, which actually is mail. Hot off the presses, Tim. The email is titled Assistance Required and is from Alex. Alex writes, "Greetings, boys. Garrett, this is to be read in Tim's creepy, creepy boy voice. Tim, don't change a goddamn thing, you beautiful bastard."
Oh, I like this. Well, I'm a little insulted, but...
Right. I will now skip that part, but I will go back to the beginning. Greetings, boys. I can't quite do it like you, but it's close.
Hold on. Greetings, boys.
Good God. How does that come so naturally? What even is that? Don't answer.
That's how I say boys. Boys.
Will haunt me. Stop. Where did you get chapstick? What? Well, this is alarming. Let me continue. After the creepy greeting, I have a dilemma that only the wisest, bravest, most handsomest person could solve. Unfortunately, Morgan Freeman is unavailable at the moment, but his voicemail relayed that any urgent requests be forwarded to the official Why I Hate This Album headquarters. He did get the message we left for him. That's great. I've decided to pick up embroidery since I need a new skill useful in bartering when the U.S. economy finally collapses. Good idea, Alex. Brilliant. I got this generic pattern for practice. You know, flowers, paisley leaves, the vague look of vaginas, etc. After dark. All of this is in the email, by the way. It's amazing. But there's a gaping emptiness in the center. A gaping emptiness that is begging to be filled. Seeing as I need to practice my lettering, I figure I would turn to the experts certified by Mr. Morg himself. Bestow unto me, O wise ones, the sacred text to be inscribed for eternity on my amateur needlework. and there's an asterisk with a footnote, which I
as all good emails have.
Yeah, which I apparently did not copy down. So mysteries abound there. Looking forward to your correspondence. Regards, somebody. Body is all capitalized and in bold. P.S. Tim is a hole fucker. Oh my God. Struck out. The text is struck out with a line next to it. Soul sucker. Damn autocorrect. I don't believe it was autocorrect, Alex. Alex, great email, fantastic skill, and absolutely 100% the monetary system we use today will be abolished and we will go back to a fundamental barter system. So it's good to have a skill. Now, Tim, what should we suggest Alex fill this gaping emptiness that she claims is begging to be filled?
Well, I think this is actually kind of perfect because we could kind of combine these two.
Well, now, keep in mind, Tim, embroidery is a complicated system of needlework, so you got to assume it can't be too long.
If you give a mouse a cookie, he will want a glass of milk, especially if that milk is your wife's hot poon. Garrett Harvey in Conversation 3/28/2015. Boom.
I'm going to say that's roughly 1,400 times too long.
Oh, friendship is always threatening?
There it is. That's a good one. Now, I don't want to encourage this, but that is a great example.
Yeah, I think we could combine these two listener submissions here
into some sort of new embroider salts.
Yeah. Instead, Alex, for each. Okay, so here's what we do.
Oh boy.
For every time you, as the listener, send in your favorite, and it can only be one, but your favorite out of context quote, Alex will, right here on the show is promising, will embroider it into a quilt and mail it back to you free of charge.
I don't know that she's going to agree to that, but let's say she did. Okay,
he. We don't know.
Hey, that's true. That's true. For some reason, I think it's
sexist.
Alex. I think it's it's quite the opposite actually. But
no, it is.
Alex is a very generic boy name.
Yeah, but boys can embroider as well. Boys.
I just based it off the fact that I think your name's Alexandra. Anyway, there's whole sections of this I apparently didn't copy down, so it's tough to say. But my point is, Tim, I have some suggestions, some classics. My favorite. I'm going to start with my favorite. Normally, I like a good build-up, but I can't stand it. Quincy has a vagina phase.
Oh, that's the one.
It's pretty good, right?
Send that to us. That's ours.
I also wouldn't mind a why I hate the WIHTA After Dark in parentheses, maybe?
Yeah, or just After Dark.
Oh, After Dark's not bad either. Now, I'm going to need those flowers to look extra vagina-y so that we know what's After Dark. Well, I'd like some branding, ideally. So either get WIHTA on there or Quincy has a vagina face, something that will let people know it's us.
Yeah.
Any other suggestions, Tim?
No, I think we should have this business where he or she makes free embroidery and sends it to other listeners, and we're not involved.
But she's looking for suggestions, Tim. I want to...
Well, no, each one of these people will suggest their own individual thing, what they want on it. I see.
I'm surprised. I think that's a great idea. I'm just surprised you don't have more you want to throw at her. Some sort of creepy...
Here we go. God-damn-roused. Why I hate this album.
No, that's one of the worst words you've ever concocted.
But it's how I felt.
Oh, I have a good one to embroider. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do that much better than me. I find that frustrating.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good one. There's also We'll Get There. Gino push-ups. That's a good one.
Ooh, yeah, especially if it's in like a cursive script kind of thing. Looks real fancy.
Yeah. Maybe Gino's in cursive fancy, but push-ups is just all caps.
Yeah.
If you put that on a pillow, I'd sleep on it every night. Not you. You're terrible at embroidery.
Well, I just don't have the time. That's why I'm bad at it, because it's all slapdash and rushed.
Beg to differ. Okay. Alex, thanks for the great email. Couple of good suggestions up top. Hopefully the listeners will come through, give us a few more suggestions of what could go on that pattern. And of course, this is just one of many. Tim has already legally obligated you to hundreds, if not thousands of these. So, I mean, get stitching, friend. That brings us to Music News of the Weird. Tim, you want to start, or would you like me to?
I can start.
All right, start away.
K-Way will not be president in 2020. He has...
well, they haven't counted all the votes, Tim.
That's true, but he has admitted defeat graciously, as always. He will almost certainly be Lecostier in 2024 unless Gary can stop him, but...
I can.
He did announce he will start a school. It will be called Yeezy Christian Academy. So so I guess he's getting them into a cult young. And I mean, honestly, Garrett, to stop K-Way, you may have to start recruiting children again like you did when you were definitely an adult and took me under your wing back in 2003 when I was not an adult. But the school will be based on the founding pillars of faith, music, communication, collaboration, and creativity. It is unclear if it is a certified educational program or if other people will be enrolled.
Or if it will ever happen.
That's fair. What music news havest thou, Garrett?
I hate you.
Henceforth.
Tim, after our in-depth reporting on Miss Britney Spears and her very troubling Instagram videos, which I watched tirelessly for weeks on end, Britney took a 2-week social media break, obviously realizing she was spiraling out of control, posting the same photos 21 separate times with different captions. Very alarming. Well, Tim, after that 2-week social media break following our unflinching reporting on the subject, I'm happy to report Britney has posted a new video as of November 2nd. The video is her usual position against a blank white wall, looking vacantly just off camera at someone that seems to be mouthing the words, "Sexier, do it sexier." Anyway, Miss Spears had to say in the video, quote, "I know there have been a lot of comments and a lot of people saying a lot of different things about me, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I am fine. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, and I am sending all of you guys a lot of prayers, wishes, and a lot of love." So, as you can see from her words and the video, she's completely fine. There's nothing strange about it at all. She does not have smeared mascara or the look of a proof of life video. Tim, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's a Save Britney situation, a movement which this show has single-handedly started, or if she's just a weirdo.
Well, it's certainly at least the latter, possibly also the former.
Fair. The whole thing is troubling. It does seem as though there's somebody there kind of like orchestrating what's going on. There's videos of her just spinning in circles.
I get it.
It's a load of fun, but, when thou leaves childhood, they put down childish things.
Yeah.
Tim, what else you got?
In boarding house reach news, Edinburgh, Scotland street busker Matt Grant had his guitar smashed by a random lady hooligan, and when Jackson White found out about it, he bought this guy a brand new Fender Stratocaster.
Oh, that's nice. You're making it harder and harder to understand who you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, so Jack White bought this guy a guitar after seeing on the interwebs that his guitar had been smashed by a lady busker. It was done through his manager. When he found out, he said he planned on emailing Jack to say thanks. He was going to call and say thanks, but Jack doesn't have a phone, which is certainly on brand.
Yeah. He's a real sting sometimes, Tim.
Yeah.
Such a pretentious cunt. Get a phone.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
not like a phone is modern technology. It's 120 years old.
Yeah.
Get a phone. Older, right? 1870, 80?
I don't know, man. Why would I know that?
Get a phone, Jack.
What other Lacostier news do you have for us this week?
What? Why is it Lacostier news?
Oh, sorry. My next story is Lacostier related.
No, mine is not.
Oh,
mine
I
is
apologize.
music news.
Okay.
I hate you. Do you know what this show is even about anymore?
Not anymore, do you?
It's unclear. As we reported here on the show first before anybody else or any other news outlet even knew about it, James Hetfield recently checked into and completed another stint of rehab. And of course, we would never make fun of anybody here on this show for doing that. We really do truly wish James the very best and hope that he is able to stay on the steady path to sobriety. However, recently Metallica's bassist was discussing their upcoming album and wanted to take a slightly different approach than they had with the previous album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, which was penned almost entirely, if not completely, by James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich, the exact same process that they followed with every other successful Metallica album, save for one. Do you know which album that was, Tim?
A Saint Anger?
There you go. If you'll recall, Tim, in the film Some Kind of Monster, Saint Anger was comprised in a much more collaborative and, if you followed the documentary, a democratic approach to songwriting and musical composition, resulting in some of the worst Metallica we've ever heard. Including...
Not the worst, though.
No. Including contributions from a therapist. And I use the word therapist very loosely. Well, Tim, if that wasn't enough, recently, sad-eyed member of Metallica, Kirk Hammett, was speaking with a completely completely different reporter in which he was talking up the fact that it's been taking him absolutely weeks to organize all of the songs he's been writing that he hopes to then submit to the band to have considered, and ultimately, as you and I could guess, can be completely rejected from being on that album whatsoever.
Oh, God, I hope he doesn't lose them.
It won't matter. I guarantee you James will. Oh, yeah, they fell off the top of my... Just go get the guitar. Also, no solos this album. No solos. Yeah, so I think we are headed face first into some kind of monster, too. What else you got, Tim?
In also Lacostier news this week, our good buddy K-Way recently did a 3-hour interview on Joe Rogan's podcast in which he claimed that Bob Marley, Prince, Bruce Lee, and Brandon Lee were all murdered, then said that he had a direct calling from God. And for those of you that aren't regular listeners of the show, I am, of course, talking about the triumvirate Christian God, Jesus, God, the Father, and most importantly, the Holy Spirit. And most importantly, and K-Way said his calling was to be, and I'm quoting here, the leader of the free world, and then went on to say that this was an idea that just came to him one day while showering.
Listen, I can't say that my calling to be Lacostier came in a much more glamorous way. In fact, usually callings to lead an entire peoples and conquer a nation, nay world, start with humble beginnings.
Yeah,
it starts with grassroots.
You're naked, certainly, right? You might not be showering. Sure. You might be peeing. I know you do that naked for some reason.
I don't want to get any on me.
Well, but
listen, Tim, when I was 9 years old, I used a urinal at Fenway Park, and I got urine all over my Little League uniform. I wore it because I wanted to show solidarity with the team. I was adorable. And I got splashback. Okay, don't comment on my adorability. Got splashback all over those Little League pants and felt like a real jackass for the next 2 innings while it dried in the sun and I smelled like pee. So I swore from that moment on, never again. So sure, sometimes that leaves me completely nude at a public urinal and holding my clothes precariously over my head as I aim towards the urinal. That's a small amount of embarrassment compared to walking around with piss on you.
Yeah, it does seem smart.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any other music news?
You bet I do. Friend of the show and spokesman for McDonald's, Fortnite, and PlayStation 5, Travis Scott recently posted photos of himself as Batman. It is a costume inspired by the greatest Batman, Michael Keaton's 1989 iteration. These photos were, of course, for Halloween, unlike Will Smith's child who showed up to a wedding dressed as White Batman. Never forget that.
And seriously, don't wear white to a wedding. Come on.
Yeah, that's just rude. Also, don't wear a hand-stitched white linen Batman suit.
Absolutely not. You're going to show up that groom. And
you show up everybody. Hey, it's your special day. I'm dressed as linen Batman.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Post-heist Batman's at the wedding. Anyway, so Travis Scott posted these photos of him, and it's going to be hard for me to describe. I assume you didn't see them, right, Tim?
I did not.
Okay. Well, they're really, the costume is really good, except it's so good that it's not quite good enough, making it look like shit. If it had been shittier, the expectations would just be like, yeah, he's just dressed as Batman as in a shitty costume. But because he clearly spent a lot of money on it, it's a very nice costume, but it's also, and I don't know if this is a filter he used or because it was at night. Oh, also he's posed in front of all of his cars for some reason. It's not really a Batman thing. Sure. But anyway, his costume and all of his cars look brown. He looks like Roach Man.
Oh.
Yeah. It's worth a look. It's not hard to find. And so anyway, so he posts these photos and it looks like total shit. He clearly spent a bunch of money on this costume. I'm sure in person, you'd be like, shit, that's really good. But maybe it's a bad photo. It's just not quite good enough. It's still kind of chintzy. You can see the black shirt he's wearing. Well, excuse me, brown shirt he's wearing underneath the body armor. It's tough. Well, I, being a Batman aficionado, was not the only one that felt like this was just lacking a bit. And all of his fans just roasted him on social media after he posted it, calling him things like Roach Man and, various other things that I won't repeat here on the show.
Sure. Well, cruelty.
Cruelty, the internet, Twitter. having had his feelings hurt. Mr. Travis has packed up his toys and gone home. He has deactivated his Instagram account in protest. Now, of course, people close to him have said, no, he's just taking time to focus on his family and hoping that he sets a good example to remind people to maybe take a break from social media once in a while. In other words, I'm butthurt over the fact that you guys made fun of my Roach Man costume. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Which is weird because he, by my account, has to be like a multi-millionaire. Like he could be Batman if he wanted to be.
No, man. It takes...
I could be Batman.
You couldn't be Batman.
Fuck you. Why not?
I have seen you jump off things, and it's fine. I've seen you climb up things, and it's fine.
It's more than fine.
I've seen you shoot a grappling hook, and it is pathetic. Like, I don't think you could fix the problem you have.
Okay, you're saying it's that bad. My natural inability cannot be overcome through practice and training?
Yes.
That is hurtful. That might be the meanest thing you've ever said to me. At least about grappling hook skills. Tim, what if I had more of a old school approach, like a manual where I, like more of a swing and swoop? You know what I mean? Like it's not out of the gun.
Now, look, you could dress as
any crazy person could dress as Batman,
and you could
Travis
fight
Scott.
criminals. You could dress as the Joker, and you could poison a bunch of people.
I like that too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you're never gonna be Batman. Your dog is Batman. Our dog, I like to think of him as.
I know. I don't like it when you say that.
Is Batman, certainly.
Sure.
Feel free to tweet at Garrett and demand pictures. He loves it.
I could be Batman.
No.
I've not heard one. Okay, my grappling hook skills are shit, and maybe I couldn't overcome that. It's more than that, though. Like, that's 20% of Batmaning. I could take the elevator to the top and work my way down.
There, yeah.
Through jumps.
Well, but you got to kind of grappling hook your way down if you're at the top of a building.
No, I got the cape, right? And they squirrel suit it.
Oh dear, you're going to be dead so quickly.
Not the whole way down. I work my way down. Work my way down using the fire escapes. It'd be difficult to be back.
Okay, so you're just a guy that knows how to use a building.
Yeah, but I'm outside dressed as Batman kicking people.
Oh, yeah, okay, right. But then we're back to where I was at. You're dressed as Batman kicking people.
Being Batman.
Okay, all right. You could be Batman. I want to move on.
What else you got, Tim?
In Bob Young news this week, Neil Young's older brother, Bob Young, is a musician too.
No, he isn't.
At 78 years old, Bob decided to give music a try, and you can hear the former professional golfer play his song Hey America featuring Neil Young on harmonica on YouTube if you're so inclined.
Did you?
I did. It's not terrible. It's not great. I mean, he's no Neil Young, but
yeah. Who is?
He's a good, I don't know, what is that? 60 years too late?
Yes. Also, just why?
I don't know.
If you'd like to begin, great, but don't put it on YouTube and be like, hey, here's me singing with my super famous brother that sounds way better than me.
Oh, you'd totally do this, though.
Not if it was my brother.
No, if your brother was Neil Young, Garrett.
If my brother was Neil Young, I would literally never leave the room he's in.
That's not true. You'd hate him.
No, he's a nice guy.
No, just because of how good he is and how jealous you are. You would be dressed as Batman fighting Neil Young.
Oh, man, me and my sidekick, chronic aneurysms.
Oh, God, that's so sad. Don't die, Neil Young. We love you. We love you so much. Do you have any other news?
One more story, Tim, and our third K-Way story of the day. Kanye West posted a photo of his ballot, claiming it is the first time he has ever voted in his entire life.
Ooh, what state did he do this in?
Wyoming.
I don't know if that's a felony or not. Go on.
Well, as I was going to point out, the video that he took of him filling out his ballot of course, as you'd guess, writing in Kanye West for president is entirely illegal. Anybody who did vote this year, first, way to go. Second, do not bring your phone into the polling place. You can put it in your pocket, but you can't take it out. Can't use the phone.
Well, that is state by state. Some actually have I don't know about video, but to encourage voter turnout have made laws saying that it's okay. But there's a bunch of old laws on the books. Basically, you can't take pictures of it because of voter intimidation reasons, but it's not all states.
Right.
But in some, it's a felony. So,
yeah, I'd be surprised if it weren't. In any event, what the internet was quick to point out was that the ballot which Kanye did submit was completely and totally blank, meaning that aside from the write-in vote of Kanye West, which literally anybody in the entire United States can write themselves in. He basically voted for nobody.
Yeah, that sounds right.
What about you, Tim? Any other music news of the weird?
I've got one last one. And this is about Trapped, Garrett, because Trapped keeps trapping. Trapped frontman Chris Brown is super into the Proud Boys now.
What?
Yeah,
who's getting on board late in life?
The band was supposed to play at Trees in Dallas, a venue that you and I have been to quite a few times. I think we actually saw Douglas Stanhope there at one point.
We did indeed.
But the venue canceled the show. Trapped couldn't figure out why. It was pandemic related. And so they made a bunch of claims on social media that social justice warriors were threatening the venue. They wrote, so Trees in Dallas caved to threats to employees by a few of the under 100 social justice warriors who bitched about Trapped in Dallas and who are also absolute sheep, brainwashed by mainstream media. What a shame. Next Dallas show for Dallas Proud Boys and LEPOYB, which I think is a Proud Boys thing. See you SJWs there. Cool.
Okay. Now, I really wish Trees had replied, nobody bought tickets. We caved to the underwhelming turnout.
We caved to the market.
Yeah. I am flummoxed. I've been alive long enough to recognize the difference between most of my life, where people were like, I think this is a good idea. And other people thought, I think this is a good idea. And by and large, everybody went, well, I don't agree on that one thing, but whatever. We can still hang out. Now it is, I don't agree, and let's get together and kill those people that don't agree.
Yeah.
And this guy is just like, hey, cool, let's threaten people. That sounds like a good idea. Racism's coming back? Cool. Like, you and I are incredibly sensitive human beings. We say horrible things from week to week. Now, most of it's joking, but...
And we cut the worst stuff. It gets so much worse than what you hear. Garrett is a monster.
Interesting. I was going to say, Tim, future Patreon channel, maybe a perk could be the Tim Cut. There is a version of every episode that is 15 to 25% longer. It's called the Tim Cut, and it's got all the stuff Garrett doesn't want in the episode. Quite literally. That's the only difference. It's just stuff that I went, nope. How much would listeners pay for an extra early access to the Tim Cut? It'd be like your Snyder Cut, Tim.
I don't want that.
God, earlier episodes, the Tim Cut, which do still exist, are like 50% longer. I used to really nitpick the small stuff. Anyway, any other news, Tim?
Nope.
Great. That brings us to the final portion of the show. Tim, we're going to get back together here in a week. We'll have listened to an album over and over and over. Tell me, what album are we going to be listening to for an entire week straight?
POD's 2001 album, Satellite.
Oh my God.
It's good, I've heard. It's got that song, Youth of the Nation, We Are, We Are. That's right.
That might be the only POD I know.
Hopefully. I feel like this is going to be one of those where I will unfortunately know a bunch of it from...
Your love of nu metal?
From high school radio, but yes.
Did your high school have a high school radio station is often seen? Okay.
Not what I meant at all.
No, I know. You just made me think of a question because you see it on TV, right? You know, on the sitcoms, there's always like now it's fucking like a news channel.
Well,
but
they did.
When I was a kid,
we did
radio.
like morning announcement kind of thing. And they did my senior year, I think they got to where it was actually like a videoed thing.
Fancy. I used to do the morning announcements.
You've got a great voice. No one's saying you don't have a great voice.
Oh, I used to have a way, way worse voice.
Oh.
It's kind of a little higher.
Oh, that's
And
delightful.
I would try to make it lower.
You are adorable.
Okay. Again, please do not comment on my... Okay.
It's what that means, I think. You are able to be adored by me. And I do. To you.
You done? I hit stop on the recorder a bit ago.
Oh, did you know POD is Christian metal, Garrett? Christian.
What does that mean?
Heavy
Did you
metal.
know anything was?
No, I didn't, but I'm excited to find out what that means.
Do we know what POD is?
I do. I actually know what the name stands for, but I will save it for next week.
Oh,
don't look it up. It's delightful.
Okay, yeah, I like a good
better
teaser.
Than Sting.
Well, it has to be. Okay, Tim, that brings us to the end of the show. As always, folks, if you can, the best thing you can do is go out there, rate, review, subscribe. Those things make the biggest difference. And ideally, if you can do it on a goddamn iPhone, that'd be good too. But not an iPhone. I guess you can do it on iTunes. They have podcast app across everything now, maybe? Tough to say. Anyway, if you could rate, review, subscribe, that'd be great. If you want access to every episode we've ever done in any format you could really ever want, you can go to hatepod.com. Been a little behind on getting those up, but we're catching up quickly and it should be up to date maybe before you hear this. So head on out there and you can get every episode in every format. You can even download an MP3 and clip your favorite parts, remix them, turn them into a Eastern European techno country jamboree. We want to hear it. And then you can submit it to us. You can either send it to hatePodMail@gmail.com. You can send us your ideas, your suggestions, your comments, your out of context quotes, all of it. We want to hear it and we may feature it on the show if it's any good, sometimes if it's really bad. You can also just click contact us at hatepod.com in the upper left-hand corner, and that'll set you up with an email form, and it does ask for an email address. It's just so we can reply. We don't mark it at you. We don't even save it. But you could put a fake one in there if you got that whole security thing and ask us your questions that way. You can also reach out to us on Instagram. That's HatePod. You can reach out to us on Twitter. That's Album HatePod. You can go to facebook.com/HatePod, though I got to admit, I haven't been out there in a minute. So if you are, good luck to you. We've got Discord servers. We've got subreddits. Point is, folks, if you want to get in touch with us, and Lord knows we want to hear from you. I mean, shit, we're even allowing DMs there on the old Instagram and Twitters. We got a whole conversation spun up. Now, don't get weird with it. Don't take advantage. We'll block the shit out of you. But if you want to talk about weird stuff from the show or ask us random questions, there's fun ways to do that. So reach out to us. We want to hear from you. And most importantly, above all else, tell your friends about it. Get some other people to listen to it. I don't care if you just buy a bunch of phones, download them every week, and never listen to a single one. That's fine too. Don't care. Let's get those numbers up. Tim, did I leave anything out?
Nope.
For Why I Hate This Album, I have been the artist formerly known as Gold Cobra.
I've been Tim.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. Well, I joined the Navy. I got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. I try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. Well, it's a lobster murder sex thing, the bleaching of her hair, full of salt on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides, the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now the week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast. Tim and Garrett.